This episode is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, the #1 seller of games and gaming accessories. And GatheringMagic.com, the #1 resource for Magic the Gathering news and articles.
Hi, this is Fabio Ashby, and this is my Chromium deck. So this is Chromium. He's my general. In my quest to make all the dragons EDH decks, I have decided to do a artifact deck based on Chromium, since obviously he's the Chrome Dragon. So he has Volair, Furia 2, and you have to pay Esper during your upkeep, otherwise you have to sack him. Normally though, he's never even in play. So we're going to start off with our tech lands. Academy Ruins, since this is an artifact-based deck, obviously include. Cloudpost, helps you ramp them up to a lot of colorless mana. This one also helps turn on your Cloudpost. Phyrexian Core allows you to sacrifice artifacts, gain life, but that allows you to recycle a lot of different artifacts that you'll be playing. Vesuva to copy your Cloudpost, obviously, or whatever other tech lands you might want. Mishra's Factory becomes an artifact. Terramorphic Expanse, it's mana fixing. So now we're into lands that add more than one color. Dimir Aqueduct, Orzhov Basilica, and Azorius Chancery. Since this is an artifact themed deck, I figured that adding the artifact lands would be pretty important with Ancient Den, Darksteel Citadel, Vault of Whispers, and Seat in the Synod. And then of course to ramp up more mana, you've got the Urzatron, the plant, the mine, and then obviously the tower. So now we're under basic lands. I picked all the basic lands to have like Esper or artifact themes, so all the art is artifact-ish. So now we get into the real meat of it. One of Oblivion Ring, well of course it's all one of. But Oblivion Ring really helps you deal with any permanents that you want to just get off the board for a little while. Steel Overseer helps make all of your artifact guys that you can create really big and then crush in for the win. Myr Retriever also recycles artifacts when he dies. Pilgrim's Eye, he just fetches a mana, so it's colorless mana fixing. Esperzoa lets you get a lot of your come into play ability triggers to go off again. Master of Ethereum, this guy can get really big and just win games. Now we're in Argivian Restoration. Reanimate for any artifacts, so I mean, you can dump huge things in the yard and then just get it right back for real cheap. Magus of the Moat helps you buy time, since this is mostly a combo deck. Thopter Assembly, he's one of the cards I can combo off with, since he puts 5/1/1 artifacts into play, and I'll get into that in a minute. But again, he allows me to just keep replaying him, or you can even dump this guy early and then get him back with Give Me Restoration or other effects. Pentavus, same thing, makes 1/1 guys, and then that are also artifacts. Magister Sphinx, because it's mean and broken and good. Now we're into some mana rocks. Mistvein Borderpost helps you fix your colors. Same thing with the Fieldmist. Signet, Orzhov Signet, Azorius Signet, Everflowing Chalice. Since you can make a bunch of mana, this thing can get pretty out of control. Mycosynth Wellspring fetches a land in and out. Worn Power Stone just gets more mana. Mana fixing. Grim Monolith obviously didn't include. Basalt Monolith as well. Courier's Capsule is just something to help you really get some cards going, since you can also return artifacts a couple different ways with this. If you ever need to draw cards in the pinch, it works. Thought Dissector, this is kind of one of the fun cards I thought I would put in there. Some people don't run artifacts in their deck. If it doesn't, you can just keep going off and milling them out. Or what you can do is you can hit really good things like Mindslavers or Swords, or you can also hit really bad things as well, like Signets, which has happened. Phyrexian Processor, I'm not afraid to pump 20 life into this guy and start chugging out 20/20s, especially when you can untap it multiple times and just really get in there. Proliferate, Contagion Clasp, pseudo removal, but also helps you get more counters on things like Everflowing Chalice. Mirari, never, ever do you want to not be able to copy a spell. Voltaic Key, more on some of the untapped effects I was talking about. Thopter Foundry, this is one of the main combo pieces, obviously. So you can sacrifice a non-token artifact, put another Thopter artifact into play. It'll also help you eat your board and stay alive for a little while you're trying to set up, so it's really good. And Time Sieve. Sacrifice 5 artifacts, take an extra turn. Well, there are so many different ways to put artifacts into play every turn, at least up to 5, that you can just keep taking multiple turns and just... You pretty much you go infinite with this card. Protomatter Powder is another way to get artifacts back that you want, like Time Sieve. Ichor Wellspring helps you draw more cards. It's also great to sack to the Time Sieve because it draws you an extra card, and it's just fodder. Raytone Lantern is colorless graveyard hate. It helps you put things away that you don't want to have in your opponent's graveyard, such as Genesis or even Eternal Witness targets, things like that. And then, of course, Sword of the Meek, which is the other combo piece with Time Sieve and Thopter Foundry. You sack it, it goes to the graveyard, you get your 1/1 Thopter, it comes back into play, and you can just keep doing that until you have a ridiculous amounts of Thopters, and you're killing your opponent. If you pay it 5 times with a Time Sieve on the board, you can just take infinite turns. Throne of Geth, more proliferate, and plus sack fodder. Memory Jar, just for kicks. I really like this card. Not only does it give your opponent an opportunity to see what they're not getting, it can also net you more cards when you exhaust your hand. Tower of Fortunes is more card draw. Well of Knowledge is the same thing. Now this is also a very political card too, because it allows you to, or other players, to draw cards with your ability, so they don't really want to get rid of it because you're letting them draw cards, but since you're producing way more mana, you're able to get the card advantage out of it. Crystal Ball, more fodder, but Scry is never bad. Relic of Progenitus, because sometimes you just have to blow the yards. I mean, you never want your opponent going crazy. And since this is an artifact deck, Tezzeret the Seeker fits in perfectly. You're able to tutor up those artifacts that you need to combo out, such as Time Sieve or anything else. Plus, if he hits play, you go -2, you get out Time Sieve, you take another turn, you go -2 again. That gets you your Thopter Foundry, and then you can just go off from there. Deep Analysis, everyone likes Deep Anal. Thoughtcast, since I have so many artifacts in play, it's draw 2 cards for 1, which is really good. Diabolic Tutor to search up those combo pieces. Reshape, this is also another great piece for pulling up all those artifacts. You can use your mana artifacts to ramp this, but then also sack that mana artifact to get what you really want. So Reshape is great in this deck. Thirst for Knowledge, draw 3 cards, discard an artifact. It's great for going turn 2, Thirst for Knowledge, end of your turn, pitch Magister Sphinx, my turn, Argivian Restoration, you're at 10. Long-term plans, it's a blue tutor. It may not get you the card right away, but it definitely puts it at top to where you know you can get it. So it's an instant too, so it's really good. Fabricate, get those combo pieces. Esper Charm allows you to make your opponent discard cards if they're hurting for cards. It gets you to draw cards, or can blow up enchantments such as O-rings on your combo pieces. So it's just really good. Spell Burst, because you have so much colorless mana. Who doesn't like a recurring counterspell? Keep your stuff safe with Negate and Foil. You still have to have your creature removal, so Swords to Plowshares. Diabolic Edict. Unmake, which I really like a lot since it exiles the creature. Mortify has multiple uses. And Dispense Justice, since this you have a lot of artifacts, you pretty much always have Metalcraft going, so they're always sacking 2 creatures. More creature control. Spin into Myth is great general control. You just put it on top of the library and then put it on the bottom. Rise from the Grave, because sometimes your opponent's creatures are going to be better than yours, so you might as well make them yours. And then other combo pieces with this. If you can't go off infinitely, well, then just go ahead and open the vaults and do more time sieving on that turn and see where you get. Same thing with Roar of Reclamation. Again, you get all of that stuff back. It lets you combo off a lot easier. Thanks for watching CMDR decks. Please subscribe and favorite.